Walmart CEO leaks the downfall. We're closing locations every day.
A retail giant is closing stores. Walmart plans to shut down 269 stores.
Walmart has announced a new round of store closures, including one of the largest locations on Chicago's South Side.
South Side Walmart CEO has finally cracked, and his leaked confession to shut down 269 Walmart locations is the most terrifying warning shot the retail world has ever heard. The so-called untouchable giant of American grocery is bleeding out fast, collapsing under a financial nightmare. This is Walmart screaming for help while the empire burns from the inside.
You can see here Walmart is closing more than 20 stores across 12 states and the District of Columbia this year.
Walmart's CEO has finally broken the silence, and the number he dropped shocked the entire country. A staggering 269 stores are being shut down across the United States. Stores in Chicago, Georgia, Ohio, Louisiana, and several other states are already on the chopping block. Behind these closures is a truth Walmart tried to keep quiet. The company is reacting to a financial crisis that hit harder than anything in its recent history: the sudden freeze of SNAP benefits. When SNAP stopped, Walmart's stability collapsed almost instantly. One government pause exposed a weakness Walmart never wanted the public to see.
They claim to be losing tens of millions of dollars a year, with losses doubling.
Inside stores, the change was immediate. Aisles that were usually crowded at all hours turned strangely quiet. Workers said they'd clock in for shifts that felt more like graveyard shifts. Families weren't filling carts anymore. People were walking in, checking prices, and walking right back out. And when your entire grocery empire depends on constant traffic and non-stop buying, that kind of silence is dangerous.
Walmart will very soon start feeling the pinch of this government shutdown. Walmart earns 5% of its total revenue from SNAP benefits.
What most shoppers never realized is that SNAP was the foundation of revenue stream for Walmart. The company has always downplayed that dependency, but the numbers tell the truth. Walmart didn't. 24% of all SNAP dollars spent in America end up inside Walmart stores. Nearly a quarter of the entire program funnels into their registers.
SNAP program is $100 billion, $25 billion of which is spent at Walmart grocery stores and chains.
And with the government spending around $100 billion a year on SNAP, Walmart was collecting an enormous share of guaranteed spending every month. So when the November freeze hit and 42 million Americans suddenly couldn't use their benefits, Walmart wasn't facing a small dip. It was staring down the loss of almost $2 billion in a single month. That kind of financial punch doesn't get brushed off. It shakes the whole system, from the CEO's office to the cashier's lane.
The world's largest retailer is downsizing. More than 100 Walmarts around the country Thursday shut their doors forever. Many of the closed stores are in small towns and rural areas with few other shops.
Managers across the country started reporting the same thing. Foot traffic dropped off a cliff. Shelves were stocked, but people weren't buying. Entire departments felt pointless because there was no one to serve. Store budgets tightened so quickly that employees were told to cut hours without even knowing why. And Walmart's closely guarded forecasting system, the machine that keeps 4,600 US stores running, started breaking down because nothing was predictable anymore.
With few other shopping options, the retailer cites a long-term strategy shift in financial performance.
This SNAP frees through the giant into chaos. The company relies on stable patterns, the same families shopping the same days, buying the same products. That consistency keeps Walmart's prices low and its stores open. But during the freeze, the patterns shattered. One week, stores felt abandoned. The next week, benefits came back, and crowds surged so hard that shelves emptied all at once. The supply chain wasn't built for this kind of whiplash. Corporate teams were rewriting plans every few hours, trying to make sense of numbers that kept collapsing.
Alderman Howard Brookins says it's indeed a great loss for this community.
And as the chaos spread, the CEO's leaked words stopped sounding like a dramatic outburst and started sounding like the truth. Walmart is closing stores because it can't keep absorbing hits like this. The company doesn't shut down locations unless something serious is happening. especially not 269 at once. These closures are a sign that Walmart's confidence has cracked. Snap drove more than 8% of its grocery sales, and when that stream dried up, so did the stability of hundreds of stores. For years, Walmart acted untouchable. It pushed competitors out, dominated small towns, and became the center of American grocery shopping. But the freeze revealed something brutal. Walmart wasn't invincible. It was dependent. And when that dependency broke, the company started breaking too.
Employees out of a job are eligible to transfer to other Walmart and Sam's.
And this is just the beginning. If one snap freeze can force 269 closures, the question now is how many more could follow? Walmart's downfall isn't a dramatic headline. It's unfolding day by day, store by store, closure by closure.
The largest employer in America, 5% of Walmart's revenue comes from SNAP benefit spending, food stamp assistance spending. 5% of all of Walmart's revenue is that.
Walmart's financial meltdown didn't start with some massive scandal or a competitor suddenly stealing their customers. No, it started with a government pause that lasted just long enough to expose how fragile the whole operation really was. A short pause was enough to wipe out almost $2 billion in sales. That's the reality when you're a retailer living on razor-thin margins. One hiccup in the system, and suddenly, the biggest company in the world is sweating bullets.
This is not small numbers. This is literally the difference.
That number wasn't random either. Analysts calculated it straight from Walmart's dependency on SNAP spending, which makes up over 8% of Walmart's entire grocery revenue. Think about how huge that is. Grocery is Walmart's backbone. It's the thing that keeps the doors open, keeps foot traffic flowing, and keeps the place from turning into a giant empty warehouse. So when SNAP froze, it wasn't just a small missing piece. It was Walmart losing a chunk of its heart.
How long this government shutdown lasts is literally the difference between whether one of the biggest companies in America can turn a profit in the United States.
The quarterly earnings aftermath was brutal. Inventory became unpredictable overnight. You had some stores drowning in overstock because people weren't buying, and others suddenly running out of basics the minute benefits came back. Traffic dropped so fast that managers were refreshing their dashboards as if watching a horror movie. And then the real pressure kicked in. Store budgets tightened instantly. Departments that usually got the green light to hire extra help were suddenly being told to make do with what you have. Translation: don't ask for anything. The 42 million Americans affected by the SNAP halt created a shockwave big enough that Walmart couldn't bury it under corporate talking points. It was a full-blown shift in customer behavior.
Don't make this smaller than it is. It's huge, and it's only going to get bigger.
And analysts didn't sugarcoat it either. Their warnings were straightforward. If SNAP freezes again, Walmart won't just see a dip. It will face recession-level traffic loss overnight. That means fewer sales, more budget cuts, more staff reductions, and even more store closures. Walmart can handle competition. It can handle economic ups and downs. But losing the customers who rely on SNAP, that hits the retailer where it hurts the most. Walmart built an empire by predicting people's habits and staying ahead of demand. But this time, the habits disappeared. The demand collapsed, and the empire had to admit something it hates to admit. It's vulnerable. And the numbers aren't whispering it, they're screaming it.
If people think Walmart's closing, people are going to go clear shelves, they're going to go...
Walmart hates closing stores. This is a company that will keep a location open even when it's barely breathing financially, just to maintain presence in a community. So the fact that dozens of underperforming stores suddenly became immediate liabilities the moment SNAP froze tells you everything. These weren't long-term decisions. They were emergency cuts. During the freeze, stores that were already struggling didn't just dip, they nosedived. Corporate took one look at the numbers and said, nope, cut it. That's how you know Walmart isn't being dramatic.
A 5% loss in revenue is literally the difference between Walmart being in the red or being in the black for an entire year.
they're panicking. And that panic leads us straight into the analysts' worst-case scenario. Walmart could end 2025 in the red. A prolonged snap freeze would wipe out billions, the kind of billions that normally take years of mistakes to lose. Walmart losing its snap-driven revenue is like pulling the engine out of a moving car and hoping momentum keeps you alive. If this keeps going, wages are at risk. Staffing is at risk. Regional operations, the teams that keep whole clusters of stores running, could face cuts.
And guys, if you don't know about the retail and the grocery business in particular, it is uber competitive. It is razor thin profit margins. It is cutthroat.
The giant is wobbling, and when a giant wobbles, the whole ground shakes. Because Walmart doesn't operate alone. If Walmart falls, the entire grocery ecosystem feels it. Suppliers count on Walmart's massive orders to keep factories running. Farmers depend on Walmart contracts to stay afloat. Trucking networks, logistics hubs, and warehouse workers, all of them rely on Walmart's scale. If Walmart starts cutting inventory orders, that's a ripple effect that hits hundreds of companies and thousands of towns. Prices would rise, availability would drop. Smaller retailers, already struggling from the same snap shock, would suffer even more. Economists warn that layoffs wouldn't just happen inside Walmart, they'd spill into every industry connected to it. And that's the nightmare scenario: a nationwide grocery squeeze. Less ordering, smaller shipments, more out-of-stock essentials. Rising food costs due to one major retailer took a blow. It sounds dramatic, but analysts aren't joking when they say millions of people could feel the fallout, and all because of a government freeze. The snap shutdown exposed Walmart's biggest weakness: dependency. It showed that the so-called invincible giant can be brought to its knees by one political decision. Like this video and subscribe to the channel to get more updates on the snap shutdown and its impacts.